Good morning, everyone. My name is Peter Tabbins. I'm the MPP for Toronto Danforth. I'm the Ontario NDP critic for energy and the climate crisis. As people are well aware, the Ford government is moving forward with its budget bill, which includes a schedule that attacks conservation authorities and the environment. There are only two groups in Ontario that are actually going to be happy by passage of this schedule. One group is that of developers and speculators who think that they can get cheap land and get it rezoned with far less difficulty in the future. And the other group is Premier Ford and his cabinet. Across Ontario, municipalities, towns, environmental groups, citizens groups are opposed to this schedule, and with good reason. It undermines environmental protection and, with its attacks on flood control, puts lives at risk. This morning, when the minister spoke, his defense of this attack on the environment was not credible. It was simply hot air. Everyone knows that actions speak louder than words, bills speak louder than press conferences, and what he offered this morning was very weak defense of a bill that everyone understands is an attack on the environment. The Premier still has time to do the right thing. He can pull the bill back, he can take out Schedule 6, he can have further debate and hearings. The opposition is willing to work with him if he's willing to take out that schedule. He needs to do it. If he doesn't do it, people will understand fully the depth of his commitment to attacking the environment. And with that, I'm happy to receive questions.
Your first question comes from Emma McIntosh with the National Observer. Please go ahead.
Good morning. I was wondering if you might be able to tell me the stakes. What are we risking here?
Thanks, Emma. I think the stakes are quite high. We've had conservation authorities in place since the early 1950s, and their job has been to protect human life and property and to protect the environment. And they've done an admirable job. The actions on the part of the government to roll back the ability of conservation authorities to assess development projects and recommend that development projects not go ahead, to protect people from having their homes built in floodplains and at a later point in a storm risking their lives. Those are the kind of stakes we're looking at. People's lives, property. We're looking at loss of conservation areas, which are really vital for us as recreational points, and to protect the ecology of Ontario. Those are the stakes, and that's why this debate has stirred up so much antipathy, so much anger across this province. People understand those stakes, and they don't want the government to proceed.
Thank you. I don't need a follow-up.
Ladies and gentlemen, as a reminder, should you have any questions, please press star 1. Your next question comes from Jeff Gray with the Globe and Mail. Please go ahead.
Thanks. Hi, Peter.
Hi, Jeff.
I wanted to ask you do you make any sense out of what the minister said to us just a few minutes ago, which was that he had wanted to work on a plan to expand and improve the Greenbelt, but David Crombie and the rest of the people who were resigning from the Greenbelt Council were opposed to this, were not interested in this. Do you make any sense of that comment at all?
No, makes no sense to me at all. People know David Crombie. People know the backgrounds of the other members of the Greenbelt Council. These are people who are committed to making sure that Greenbelt is healthy, that it's protected, and I'm sure would have no problem with expanding it. The suggestion that they were a problem in terms of expanding the Greenbelt is simply not credible. It might be a useful diversionary tactic, but it's certainly not credible.
And you mentioned the rising anger across the province. Many of the areas where these issues are really acute are outside the city of Toronto, are out in places where there are PC MPPs who are no doubt hearing from their constituents. Are you getting the sense that there's anybody in that caucus that might agree with you or be hearing a lot from their constituents?
Well, I certainly can't say whether anyone in that caucus agrees with me. I haven't had those discussions, and my guess is they'd be pretty tight-lipped about it. But I can't believe that they're not being besieged. I mean, my office gets lots of phone calls, lots of emails. So do the other MPPs that I talk to. And I know our MPPs in the north are hearing about this as well. There's got to be an awful lot of pressure coming down on the PC government about this. It really begs the question, who's going to win out of this and who's going to lose? And I just think that the commitment of the Ford government to developers and speculators is so powerful, and the win that they expect to get is so big that they're willing to set aside the interests of the rest of us, the people who like to have conservation authorities, like to know that their new home is in a place that's safe, and frankly are concerned about our children and grandchildren having protected nature around them. I can't imagine that the Tory MPPs aren't getting flooded with calls and emails as well.
OK, moi je vais vous poser la question en français. Votre réaction à la démission en bloc des membres du conseil de la Greenbelt, qu'est-ce que ça dit exactement sur l'impact que pourrait avoir le projet de loi?
C'est clair que ce projet de loi, c'est une attaque contre l'environnement, et les membres du conseil ont dit c'est incroyable, ce n'est pas une chose que nous pouvons soutenir, et c'est nécessaire pour le gouvernement de annuler ce projet de loi et protéger l'environnement.
Qu'est-ce que vous pensez de l'attaque du ministre qui a dit, de toute manière, ces membres-là, c'était difficile de faire bouger les choses avec le Greenbelt, qu'on ne pouvait pas étendre la superficie de...
C'est pas crédible. C'est incroyable. Monsieur Crombie et les autres membres sont des gens qui pensent de l'environnement, qui ont un intérêt dans l'environnement. Et si on dit qu'ils n'aiment pas le Greenbelt, qu'ils n'aiment pas l'augmentation de la Greenbelt, ce n'est pas crédible.
Et même si, on a retiré la Greenbelt de cette Schedule 6, là, il y a quand même des implications. On pourrait quand même avoir un impact sur la Greenbelt en raison des inondations et du watershed.
C'est une bonne question, et peut-être un peu compliquée, mais je sais. C'est pas possible de diviser le Greenbelt et les fleuves, les vallées des fleuves. Ils sont intégrés, et si on attaquait les fleuves, les vallées des fleuves, on attaque le Greenbelt en même temps. Ça marche?
Yeah.
Merci beaucoup.
No more questions?
Merci. Thanks, everybody.